Here we go now.
Good afternoon to my entire Jeunesse Australasia family as I welcome you to episode 3 of our Jeunesse Live Self-Care series. We kicked off our self-care series last month with a look at the importance of nutrition in lockdown with clinical nutritionist Ariel Pang, and our last episode focused on shifting your mindset with David Laws, and the feedback has been amazing. For those of you who missed our last episode, make sure you go back and take a look at David, as he was inspirational and a true testament to his craft. Our self-care series was specifically designed to help guide you through a cycle of renewal in your health and well-being and help you recognize how to move through your stress responses to different situations. Each episode features a special guest focusing on their area of expertise, and our special guest for today is an author of more than 11 published books on the topics of self-help, entrepreneurship and writing, including an award-winning blog attracting thousands of readers. As a winner of the 2012 and 2014 30 Under 30 Young Entrepreneur Award, Emily has featured in a range of media sharing her inspirational messages, and today she is here to share it with you all. Help me welcome Emily Gowor to take you through 3 ways to stay inspired in challenging times. Thank you so much for being with us today, Emily.
Thank you, Rachel. It's an absolute pleasure and privilege, and I'm so inspired by your commitment and your effort to helping more people to rise up, you know, in tough times, because we both know that self-care is more important than ever, and it's one of those things that's been heightened, I think, in the last year and a half, that we need to take care of ourselves. So I'm very inspired by your effort, and it's a privilege to be here and to share some insights that can hopefully help those of you who are maybe struggling a little bit to kind of pull yourself back together and to move forward in your own life. So it's really a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Emily and I were just chatting beforehand, and, you know, we were saying sometimes for even us, it's these specific talks are what we need to hear at this particular point in time, you know, and we just can't stress enough the importance of self-care and taking care of yourself during these times.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Emily.
Yes, awesome. Yes, I think one of the things that really comes through so strongly for me is I don't know anybody that hasn't been challenged or hasn't been affected in some way by, you know, global circumstances in the last, you know, year and a half. And so I really believe that this is that time of real personal responsibility to decide what it is that we can do to turn things around and to make that choice to invest in self-care. So as Rachel said, what I'm going to share with you is I'm actually going to share with you 3 ways that you can stay inspired so that you can make the most of your life right now amidst your challenges, no matter whether they're personal or it is because maybe you're in lockdown right now. So we're going to do 3 ways that you can stay inspired. This is all about really feeding your state of mind, taking care of you first, so that everything else in your life can flow as a result of that. And we're going to dive in really deep, and we're going to start by talking about a connection with your purpose in life. So I think when we get thrown adversities or life dishes us out some lemons and some challenging circumstances, I think one of the first things that can happen is that we can kind of lose touch with our sense of purpose. In other words, having a sense of like who we are and what it is that we're born to do. Now, I personally believe that every human being has an important purpose to fulfill. It doesn't matter what your background is, what stage of life you are in right now, how many challenges you've been through in your journey. I truly believe that every single human being on this planet has something special to offer. And the more connected you are to what that is for you, the more inspired you will be personally. Now, as well as believing that, I also believe that that deep connection to that purpose in life is essential for success. So if you stop and you think about, you know, your company leaders, or maybe your own team leader, or you think about the people that have inspired you in life, maybe it's someone like Oprah Winfrey or someone like Steve Jobs or the great entrepreneurs and leaders, generally speaking, the one thing that they have in common is that they're deeply connected to their purpose. So they know what it is that they're here to do and they stick to that. So we say, you know, what is purpose? For me, very simply, purpose is knowing who you are. So having a sense of self, having a really clear idea about what it is that you love to do, and then knowing what it is that you're born to do. So to give you a really simple example of that, when it comes to purpose for myself, I mean, as Rachel was sharing, you know, I've written like 11 books. I have a lot of books. I'm a writer at heart. So if you say to me, you know, who are you? What are you born to do? What do you love to do? Inspirational writing, and then pretty close second to that is inspirational speaking. This is my purpose on the planet. So what is your purpose? So what is this sense of purpose? Now, I believe that when you live your life on purpose, it really does bring out the best of you. So when you say, you know, what is it to live your life on purpose? That means that you see your business as a vehicle for you to achieve what you want to achieve. You feel like you're on your mission. You know, you're doing what you love in your work, and every area of your life feels like a part of that journey, like that bigger journey and that bigger plan for your life. So I really do believe that when people get tuned in to that flame or that spark of purpose, if you want to call it that, that's when we start to light up from the inside, and it brings out our human potential that is dormant inside every single one of us. So when you're living on purpose, and the more you live in alignment with your purpose, you will be inspired. Now, one of my mentors, Dr. John Demartini, who's an amazing man, he said that inspiration is the spirit from within, and that when you're connected with your purpose, that spirit gets ignited. So when you have a sense of purpose and you say, well, this is who I am, this is what I love to do, and it's what I live to do, you naturally have more energy that comes from within. You're naturally more ambitious. So you start to set bigger goals for yourself, you start to dream bigger, and then you become determined. And I'm absolutely sure that you know people in your own life, when you look at them and what they've achieved, and you think, oh my God, this person is so determined, so persistent, and they will stop at nothing and let absolutely nothing stop them from achieving their goals. And I believe that purpose is the common denominator to any individual who has truly thrived, regardless of what circumstances they've been placed in. And you know what, honestly, if you read the biographies or you watch, you know, documentaries on people who have achieved amazing things, whether that's, you know, climbing free solo, you know, a massive cliff, or running $1 billion, you know, enterprise, you'll see they've all gone through challenge. You're all leaders, all people who make a difference on the planet. are people who've been through adversity. And so I've also noticed that when you're really connected with your purpose, you tend to become more resilient in the face of adversity. So rather than letting challenges defeat you, you're more likely to want to rise up and conquer them, because in your mind, you can see a vision of what you want to achieve, and you are not going to stop until you fulfill that for yourself. So what happens is you start to ask a different type of question, right? Because I think when people get hit with challenge, there's kind of a propensity to maybe, blame or sort of dramatize things a little bit, or to kind of focus on the challenge. But when you're really ignited from within about who you are and what you want to do, you start to ask different questions. So you'll say to yourself, okay, this is maybe not the most ideal circumstance, like maybe I'm in lockdown, or my business has to go online in a new way. But then there'll be this little glimmer in your mind that will say, all right, how can I use that to my advantage? Or how can I turn this around to get what I want? Now, I remember when the pandemic hit Australia, in 2020, I had that kind of probably moment of panic that I think a lot of entrepreneurs had and a lot of people had, where we didn't know what was going to come. We had no idea. I had no idea if my business was going to survive. It was like holding my breath for 2 or 3 weeks there, just wondering what was going to happen. And so what happened was, how I handled that was I quickly counted my blessings. I took stock of my health and the health of the people around me. I had gratitude for what I had. And then I asked myself, okay, I can't travel, but what can I do instead? And I shifted my focus really quickly, because there was no way that a pandemic or any kind of global circumstance was going to stop me from wanting to be a writer, from wanting to be a speaker. So you start to be a little bit more resilient. You start to want to bounce back. And that's not just about global pandemics or, business changing forever. This is about how you handle personal issues and challenges as well. Because we're all going to have off days. You're going to have things that challenge you, me included. I've had more meltdowns and breakdowns in the years of my career than almost anyone that I know. And so I go through these as well, but it's my purpose that keeps me going. And so I think it's really important for us to remember our purpose during this time. So your connection to your purpose impacts your well-being on every level. It is not just the foundation for your success. It's not just the source of your persistence and determination, but it also helps you mentally. It helps you spiritually. It changes the way that you start to manage your own emotions. And it gives you that kind of self-love and self-worth that you need to take care of your physical body as well. So I really do believe that purpose is that first fundamental touch point for self-care and for handling, and not just handling, I guess, but thriving in challenging times. So I want to encourage you to take a moment to really connect inwardly with your own purpose. And for some of you, it might be the first time in a while that you've actually stopped and thought, oh, my purpose in life, I forgot about that. Or maybe you actually need to connect with it in a little more deeply than you ever have before. But regardless of where you're at right now in relation to your purpose, I just want to encourage you to really reflect inwardly and start to ask these questions for yourself and say, what is it that you feel you were born to do? And if you could summarize that in a couple of words, what would that be? So for me, I would say, I want to inspire the world. I want to write and speak. That's what I feel like I was born to do. Now, you can also ask yourself, why did I start in this business? So, and you might have lost touch with that, especially if you're used to in-person networking and now you have to kind of go online and things are perhaps a little bit challenging. And so I want you to just remember, why did you originally start out on this path? What was it that you were seeking to achieve? And so I want you to reflect on those questions for yourself and get that vision of your purpose and yourself pursuing your purpose as clear as you can in your own mind. And then find ways to remind yourself of your purpose. So one of these, I'm a big believer in this. I think that once you have a sense of what it is that you love to do and who you want to be, you need to keep that in your space, like in your physical space as much as you can, because the truth is you are going to have ups and downs. You are going to have off days. And so if you can use different tools to keep your purpose at front of mind, it's going to help you to move forward. So a couple of really simple ideas for reminding yourself of your purpose every day is definitely vision boards. So I have my vision board literally on the wall, just over there. I do a new vision board every 12 months. I find them incredibly powerful tools for keeping me focused no matter what is going on, and for keeping me, inspired to keep going forward. Even like if I'm pushing myself to a new goal or I'm just having a really off week, when I come back to something like a vision board, it reminds me who I am and what I'm here to do. Now, you could also put a purpose statement maybe on like the screensaver of your phone so that it's in your space. So imagine you wake up in the morning, and most people check their phone when they first wake up, and you pick up your phone and the first thing you see is your statement. For example, I'm an amazing business leader devoted to helping the planet heal, you know, and you have this purpose statement, and if you keep it in your space, it can be really powerful as well. Or you might even create like a mind movie. So Mind Movie is actually a really great company, and they help you to create like a video version of your vision board. And you can put music and pictures and affirmations. So that's another idea. I've actually just been working on my own mind movie to bring my vision board to life. But you can definitely use mind movies. But regardless of the strategy that you take to stay connected to your purpose, I really do believe that it is fundamental for you in not only surviving, but thriving. And other people will be impacted by your connection to your purpose as well. So that's the first way that you can really start to stay inspired and feel inspired on a more regular basis, not just through challenge, but actually every single day, is to really connect in with your purpose, to keep sitting with it and to let it get clearer. And then again, to remind yourself of that so it's in your space every day. So let's talk about the second strategy for staying inspired in challenging times, and it's to care for your energy. And this is critical. And like Rachel and I were talking about, sometimes we need reminders of this in our own life. This was the one that stuck with me because I thought I could probably use a little bit more like, you know, investment in terms of caring for my own energy. So I believe that it is more important than ever to take care of ourselves. And this is really about taking care of your energy. So it's about taking care of physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, spiritual energy, you name it. I mean, energy is energy. It's all the way through your entire being. And so what you want to do is invest as much as you can in taking care of your energy, because your personal energy, so how you are, how you feel on a particular day, what kind of vibration, if you will, your energy is on, that creates everything in your life, and other people feel that. So you've heard the phrase, I'm sure, you know, it's difficult to put an oxygen mask on someone else before you put it on yourself. It's hard to pour from an empty cup. This all comes down to taking care of energy and making sure that you personally have plenty of it. Now, like I said earlier, like we all have off days or off weeks, hopefully not off months or off years, but hopefully that's not going on too long for you. But we all have off days or off weeks. But I really do believe it's how we handle those that counts in the long run. So it's actually not about trying to avoid those days, but it's about what you're going to do to try to turn that around and use this to your advantage. So I want to give you 3 strategies, and these are things that I personally do all the time to take care of my energy. So these are very practical strategies, but they're also a little bit of a mindset to start cultivating, to take care of who you are so that you can be of better service to your team, to the world, to your customers, your clients, you name it. And the first one is really to control the input. And I like this picture, it's super cute. This dog looks like he's so chilled out. But it's all about controlling input. And in a nutshell, controlling input is about understanding that you don't just want to let anything and everything come into your space. And actually, when I reflected on this, I realized I've been doing this almost through my whole career. Like since I found out what my purpose was, and I fell in love with the world of self-development, and I started developing out my goals, and I knew who I wanted to be in the world, I realized that I can't just be engaging in too much drama or engaging in things that stress me out or that, quite frankly, are really depressing. And so I think controlling input is there's a couple of ways that you can apply that in your life, is to say, you know, what are the influences that are currently like impacting me right now? So am I being, you know, too caught up in social media and maybe the vax versus anti-vax conversation? Am I talking about, you know, COVID circumstances too much? Am I engaging in my own personal drama? And you start to kind of assess, you know, what is it that's actually influencing your energy field right now? So I'm a huge, like, I guess a huge advocate for this, definitely in my own life, is that I don't want to engage in conversations that are going to drain me personally. And some might say, okay, that's being a little bit selfish. Go, yes, it is, because I can't do my work or do my job in the world properly. I can't inspire others if I personally am not inspired. So this is about taking care of and just being conscious. You know, are you falling into what one of my friends calls a scroll hole on social media? Are you watching too much news and engaging in perhaps conversations that are not really serving you, and making a bit of a commitment to yourself that you're going to control that input? Now, controlling input of like news and media, social media, it's not about ignoring what's going on in the world around you. It's not about, not having an understanding of what's happening on the planet, because I certainly do. I'm very aware of it. But it's about how much you're going to let that impact your energy. Because sometimes I think, you know what, that's really not a great circumstance, but I can't do anything to change it. And so I'm going to not get too stressed about it. I'm going to deal with the facts, and then I'm going to get back to work, and I'm going to do everything that I can to make a difference on the planet. So controlling input is huge. It really is about protecting your state of mind so that you can perform optimally. And for me, the big one is just social media is probably the number one source, I think, of having too much drama and chaos in a lot of people's lives. So kind of controlling that, just be really conscious of that input. Now, the next strategy that I always use, and I've been using this for years, is to structure time to achieve your goals. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the concept of time blocking, but essentially once you have your goal, so for example, let's say you have a business goal, you say, I want to grow my business to this point in the next 6 months, or maybe in the next 12 months. And then what you need to start doing is then structuring your time backwards to achieve your goals. Now, I love the quote that says, if you don't run the day will run you. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. So this is about creating a bit of a rhythm and a routine, or a bit of a ritual for your own week, especially with so many people working from home. You want to work out what you're going to put your focus into on different days of the week. So for example, I nicknamed Monday Marketing Monday. Tuesday, I tend to do a lot of business development. Wednesday's pretty similar to Tuesday. It kind of depends on my schedule. Thursday, I'll work with my clients and do a lot of client work, and I work with my team. And then Friday's a little bit of a mix of working with clients and doing admin. And do you know what? For the last 2 to 3 years, that's been the rhythm that I followed with my time, and it's helped me to achieve a lot. And so I'm putting out, since pandemic, hit the planet, I put out like 3 new online programs because I couldn't travel. So I just made myself productive. But it's all about how you then block your time backwards and break it down to say, I want to achieve this goal. What is the most important thing that I can do each day or each week that's going to help me to achieve that, and then make it part of your calendar? Because if you don't book it in, it doesn't get done. Now, in terms of you staying inspired, when you fill your time with the thing that you most want to achieve, and at the end of every day, I'm moving towards my dream, I'm fulfilling my purpose, that's going to automatically give you a greater sense of fulfillment and meaning in your own life. So it has a lot of value. Now, the third strategy for caring for your energy is to do whatever you can to nurture your energy, especially when there's, so much stress and so much kind of chaos going on in the world. So you want to nurture your energy, and this is simply having really good habits for yourself. So this could be your morning meditation. So I know my partner, he meditates first thing in the morning. He doesn't get out of bed without doing a gratitude meditation. I think that's pretty amazing. I could probably adopt that a little bit more. So you can do morning meditation. Could be daily exercise, like going for a walk, go out, get some air, sit in the sun. I personally use journaling. I love to journal. I mean, I'm a writer. Like I journal like 100,000 words a year, but I love to write, but I use my journaling as a way to take care of my state of mind and to protect my energy, to nurture my energy. It could be massage. It could be taking a warm bath, which I particularly like doing, especially in winter. Doing breath work, listening to inspiring music, using health products, which I know that you all have the lowdown on exactly which products are the best ones to boost your health, having clean eating, and spending time with loved ones, even if that is over Zoom right now. I think all of these things are way more important than we can possibly comprehend right now. And again, it's all about nurturing your energy so that you're filling your cup constantly so that you can push through whatever challenges you need to. So the real question here around energy is really 2 questions. How is your energy right now? And this takes, I think, awareness, self-awareness on a daily basis to just check in with your energy to take care of it. It's like, how is your energy right now? And very simply, what can you do to improve it? So can you schedule in some downtime to just meditate? Can you schedule in some time to think about your purpose in life? Can you create a vision board, even if that's digitally, because you can't go to a stationery store right now? It's like, what can you do to improve your energy? Sometimes you literally just need a good night's sleep, but just keep in tune with that, develop that relationship of self-care with you so that you can keep filling your cup again, so to help you to move forward. So what can you do to improve your energy right now? So let's move on to the third way that you can stay inspired in challenging times. And I love this one. It's about embracing your leadership. Now, I know that all of you who are watching, you are in your own right a leader. You've chosen to be in a leadership position, and that deeply inspires me because you've decided that you can be a voice for the world, that you can represent something that you believe in, that you can share health and well-being with as many people as possible. I think this is deeply inspiring. And personally, I think that feeling inspired or being inspired is powerful for two reasons. One is that it impacts your own well-being, because if you feel inspired, then it changes your entire life. But the second reason that being inspired is so important is because it impacts your leadership. Now, I have a quote that I wrote a very long time ago, and it was one of those like inspired moments which happens quite a lot for me, I will admit, but an inspired moment where words kind of came through me. And the words were, the fastest way to inspire someone is to be inspired. And when I sat back and I thought about it, I realized that that's true, because the truth is people want to be around other people who are inspired, people who haven't let the way of the world kind of break their spirit. People want to be around that. In fact, even more than that, people look for that. I cannot tell you how many times I've had someone, read a little inspirational post on Facebook, or, I told a little bit of my story, or I put out some kind of message that can inspire someone else, and they've come back and thanked me for that. And I think, to me, this is where leadership kicks in. This is what brings meaning, to my own life. And I'm sure it will for so many of you, is that you can make a difference in someone else's life, but you personally need to be inspired in order to do that. So I just have one question for you here around leadership and really embracing that in your own business, your life, the world, is that who are you going to be for your family, for your team, for your community, and for the world through this challenging time? So this is about making a decision about the type of person that you want to be. And for me, I made this decision more than 14 years ago. I want to inspire people. I want to have a grasp on what is possible. And I want to do whatever I can to help people to see that for themselves. I want to encourage people to believe in themselves. I want to show them that they can overcome adversity. That's who I chose to be. So who are you going to be in your own life? What kind of leadership position are you going to take that could make a difference in someone else's life? And I believe, honestly, the world needs leadership right now. More than perhaps ever. People need hope. They need the hope that they can still have their dreams, that they can still achieve great things right now. They definitely need encouragement. In fact, I think we all need a dose of encouragement on a regular basis. They need inspiration to see what is possible. And they need some faith that that flower can break through the concrete. So my question for you is, why not you? What difference could you make today if you just decided every day, I'm just going to be, who am I going to be as a leader? I'm just going to make a difference. Let me try to make a difference for this one person. How can I be there for the world right now? What can I put out into the world? And do you know what? Whatever you put out into the world does tend to come back. So when you're, sharing inspiration and you're caring for your team, maybe there's a day where you need it and then someone else steps in and returns the favor. And I've always found that to be somewhat of a miracle. Certainly in my own life, is that when you give out so much inspiration and you stand up and you be an advocate for something greater and something bigger, it's miraculous what impact that then has on the relationships that you attract in your life. So really want to encourage you to, as difficult as it might be sometimes, keep focusing on who can I be for the planet? Yes, take care of your own purpose, be connected to that, take care of your own energy, because that's what will then lead to you being a greater leader. So I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts around leadership, and it's simply this, is that even if you touch one life, or you help one team member or one friend, it counts. This is how we change the world. I think that, people have these ideas that, changing the world means you have to have 10,000 people in an audience, or that you need to have a $1 billion business, but that's not true. It's what you do every single day that makes such a big difference. And I don't know anything more fulfilling or meaningful or inspiring for my own life than knowing that I've helped somebody else. So I would just want to remind you that you can make a difference from exactly where you're sitting right now with phone in hand. I know that you can do great things. We really are blessed in that sense. Imagine doing this, kind of going through this kind of pandemic 100 years ago when there were no mobile phones and we were infinitely less connected in a lot of ways. I think we have a blessing. We always have an opportunity. I'm one of those, call me an optimist. I'm one of those people that really does believe that no matter what happens, we can turn it into something even greater. And so that's not always easy, but it's absolutely worth it. So just remember that you can make a difference. And perhaps, when you think about leadership, you need to remember why you started in this business. Same as connecting with your purpose is, Go back to that first moment where you made the decision and go, this is for me, that moment of knowing that you could take this and do something great with it. And that might just have the seed inside it for the type of leader that you want to be. So I want you to reflect on that for yourself. So really embrace your leadership. So just in closing, I will say this, is that I believe that pandemic or no pandemic, online business changing forever, whatever's going on the planet, I believe we're always going to have some kind of challenge in life. I've been through so many challenges, growing my business, writing books doesn't always come easily. I've had relationship breakdowns. I've had health problems. I've been through so much. I mean, being human, fortunately or unfortunately, just involves having adversity at different times. And we're always going to get challenged, but it truly isn't the fact that you get a challenge that determines your destiny. It's how you then choose to handle that. And I think that self-care is critical. It's fundamental in being able to overcome a challenge, whether that's deciding what your marketing strategy is going to be, or having to kind of reassess your life direction, or trying to overcome a personal challenge. Coming back to that foundation of self-care will always get you through. So this is, critical. So I'll leave you with this. And this is actually one of my own quotes, which funnily enough, Facebook reminded me of right before we were recording this. And I thought, oh, this has to go in to this particular presentation. I think this is really self-care summed up in greatest simplicity, that the basics of self-care is to do what supports you and to stop doing that which doesn't. And it's possibly a little bit easier to say than it is to apply, but with a diligent commitment to yourself, with a deep connection to your purpose, and having a clear vision of where you're going, you can do this moment by moment. Just make those decisions to take care of your energy, make that day-by-day decision to take care of yourself so that you truly can go on and achieve something amazing. And I absolutely believe, as I know Rachel does as well, that this is 100% possible no matter what kind of circumstance we're facing right now. So I hope that's given you some inspiration for how you can take care of yourself and stay inspired in challenging times.
Absolutely, Emily. Thank you so much. I think what a lot of people forget during challenging times is they do forget their why. Stress, anxiety takes over, and they do forget that they can make a difference. And they started this journey because they wanted to make a difference. So, some amazing points there, bang on the money on so many different things. Thank you very much. So I want to hear from you guys listening today. Emily mentioned, what difference could you make today? So drop us a comment below and let us know, what difference could you make today? We want to know that you are listening, and we want to know that we've made a difference to you, with this talk today and with our self-care series. So, Emily, absolute pleasure having you. I thank you so much for your time. I know everyone is going to love this, and I'm really looking forward to awaiting the feedback.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel, and it's a privilege. And I know sometimes we get overwhelmed, and we just need to be reminded of it. And I'm the same as well. I have to come back to these basics, and these are the things that stand the test of time. Is like, what's your purpose? Am I taking care of my energy? Am I looking after myself? And who can I be in the world? And I think these stand the test of time. These are going to be true no matter what stage of business you're at, but we do need a reminder of these every now and again. So yeah, looking forward to hearing feedback, and I'm hearing also what people are doing to take care of their energy too. So absolutely. Thank you awesome. Once again. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you in next week's episode. Thanks, guys.